The biggest enemy of productivity is not procrastination, it's perfection. Let me explain. Have you ever said to yourself, this YouTube thing seems pretty easy. I bet I could do this myself. Or a video where someone learns to code from scratch, or learns to do 3D art, or Photoshop, or video editing from scratch, or builds a house from scratch, gets to 1000 ELO in chess, does a speedrun of Dark Souls, or Pokemon, or Mario, or Zelda, or Minecraft, and said, I bet I could do that too. Only to be here, months later, years later, watching this very video in this very moment, realizing you never even did the first step. Well, my friends, you are not alone. Let me tell you the story of how I ended up in this exact headspace and stayed there for almost 3 years. I love Minecraft hardcore videos. If you don't know what hardcore Minecraft is, it's exactly like normal Minecraft, except if your character dies for any reason, your world and everything you've built in it is lost forever. So naturally, when people survive thousands of days in these worlds, that is already impressive. But when they also build crazy stuff, and I mean crazy. Looney's video, originally titled How I Survived Minecraft Hardcore for a Year as My Job, is in my top 5 favorite videos of all time I've ever seen on YouTube. That video is why this true one-block world exists, and another world before this, a hardcore world. You see, 3 years ago I've spent about 4 months creating a plan for one of my YouTube channels, making Pokemon challenge runs. I prepared for it, researched stuff, set up a live stream, but as I was about to press start on the whole idea, I saw Looney's video and it was so inspiring that right then and there I just dropped everything. I booted up a hardcore world in Minecraft and decided to become the next Looney. Except, as I said, this was 3 years ago. And while I did start the hardcore world, and I did finish more than 1,000 days on it, I definitely haven't become the next Looney. I could tell you how I also did 2 other YouTube projects on the side, thinking I can juggle them all, or how we needed to move countries, which I talk about in my previous video, or how I had to work 50 to 60 hours of hard labor each week for about 7 months. But these are all just excuses. But I have started the Minecraft world, and I have made 10 videos about the progress. So, what was the problem? Well, those videos were bad. They weren't anywhere close to the perfect video Looney had released. So, what was my solution? I came up with an elaborate plan of crazy mega projects that were perfect and that will push me to my very limit. This, obviously, never happened. But why? You might ask. Why not just execute on these plans? This is what I couldn't figure out for the longest time. This is what this video is all about. If you want to do YouTube, or you want to do your business idea, and you even have all the plans, you're just not executing on those plans, well then, this video is for you. Like many times before, I had to do a bit of research on the why. Why don't I just execute on those plans and make those inspiring videos? And what I found was not what I expected. There are 3 key things we need to understand to get out of this state of mind. The first one is the quantity versus quality conundrum. To me, Looney's video was the first video where I said, I could do this myself, and in fact, I really want to. So why haven't I created anything even remotely as inspirational as he? Because a project of such magnitude was just too much for me. It was like taking on a level 50 boss at level 5. I thought I was like level 40, I thought I had a chance, but I was so wrong. I had to accept that I just don't have the momentum. I'm not high enough level yet. So how do we level up? How do we get the momentum? Instead of this maximalist perfectionist quality over quantity attitude, I should have had the pottery class attitude. This is a commonly used example of the quantity versus quality topic. There was a pottery class that was divided into 2 groups with a 30-day challenge. Group A just had to produce one really good pot. Group B had to produce a pot every single day. So, quality versus quantity. At the end of the 30 days, they compared the results to find out which group would produce better pots. And contrary to what many believed would happen, the members of the quality group, who mostly spent their time theorizing about making the perfect pot, they ended up with a big pile of dead clay. The quantity group, however, who made a pot every day for 30 days, they made some genuinely really good pots. Well, how could this be? It's pretty simple, really. It's not quantity versus quality, but quantity brings quality. This definitely holds true for content creation, or any creation for that matter. And here is exactly why. Much like in a video game, you get better by consistency. You cannot skip the early grind. You cannot skip learning the controls, the mechanics, the area bosses. That is how you will reach the final area and defeat that level 50 boss. This is kind of literally how content creation works. Your first video will never be as good as your second, no matter how much you work on it, because by your second video, you have all the experience from your first video, plus the experience you've got so far making your second. To continue the RPG analogy, spending an insane amount of time on your first video would be kind of like trying to get your level 5 character all the way to level 50 in the starter area. Technically you could do that, but do you know what would be a more effective and fun use of your time? Just defeating the area boss and moving on. The reality is, however, that content creation, or the creation of anything in general, is closer to an RPG where there is an area XP limit, which means no matter how much you grind, you will never get past level 10 until you defeat the area boss. Content creation is exactly like that. It is just not possible for you to learn everything from creating just one masterpiece. There is a limit to how much experience that will give you. If this was not the case, the quality group would have won the pottery challenge. I really had to take this to heart, and I really had to let go of this quality mentality that I had going on. When I see all these amazing content creators and streamers and people that are just very engaging, I had to accept that I'm just not on their level yet. And I never will be if I don't take my time to grind the early levels, which is exactly what I'm trying to do with these videos. And the second point, the second reason why I wasn't able to make a video as good as Looney ties in very closely to what I was talking about so far. It has to do with your abilities as a level 5. When I saw Looney's video, I was inspired, but I know that many people have a more toxic take on inspirational YouTubers or content creators in general. Something along the lines of, content creator, streamer, you just talk to a camera while playing video games. Anyone could do that. This doesn't take a special talent. And they are right, partially. It really doesn't take special talents or abilities to learn to create YouTube videos. But what these people don't understand is just how vastly different content consumption and content creation is, especially content creation as a job. So to the people who think like that, have you ever done something for hundreds of hours, thousands of hours, where you're not sure if you'll ever see a return on your time and energy investment? Have you ever streamed for 6 to 8 hours, 5 days a week, for a year, being actually entertaining, while no one is watching? Have you filmed, edited, or released a video every week for a year? Have you filmed, edited, or released a video even once? Have you ever had to wonder where your next paycheck is coming from? If it will come, or when, if ever, will you make enough money to be able to go on that unpaid, by design, vacation for 2 weeks while not being able to make much, if any, money at all? Can you keep doing all the previous stuff despite negative comments and criticism from others and from yourself? Imagine you work on your one perfect video or whatever, your masterpiece. It's your first piece of content ever, and you've put your heart and soul into it because you wanted it to be perfect. And imagine releasing it and 10 people see it. 9 of them leave a mostly positive comment, but 1 is extremely negative. This is the point where most people quit, actually. They quit because they are not high enough level for that kind of attention. You know how in many video games there are these abilities or talent trees you unlock as you level up? You have not yet unlocked the talents that would help you endure those negative comments. You haven't built up your resistances yet. Do you think established content creators care if their 500th video gets a negative comment? They're already way past that, like a level 50 character can finish the starter area, the one you and I are stuck in, with their hands tied behind their backs, faces rolling on the keyboard. You and I, in the starter area, we need to build up our resistances, levels. We need to unlock those talents first. I could make a whole nother video on talking about how I think school is the main culprit for this sort of I'm not going to do anything because I'm going to fail attitude. But the gist of it is in school we learn to avoid failure. You fail the test, you get an F or a 1 if you're European. You get many of those, you fail the class. Fail enough classes, you fail the year. Nothing could be further from how real life and especially becoming a content creator of any sort works. It is literally like a first area boss. You fight it, you fail. You try again, you fail again. You try again, you fail again. But this time, you got it down to half HP. And eventually, after all the failures, after all the lessons learned, you will succeed. So this is the second lesson. Even if you're super talented, the very first video, probably 10 or maybe even 20 videos you'll make will be bad. And that is okay. It's okay. Because that is how you build up resistances. That is how you level up. That is how you unlock those talents. Some people might still like those videos. Some people might roast them. Get used to that. Build up your resistances. Unlock your talents. Let go of perfection. Just make videos. That is the road to success. No amount of prepping or planning can ever bypass that. I truly deeply wish I could engrave that into my very being because, to be absolutely real with you, despite this inspirational pep talk, if it can be called that, I still struggle with this. So the third lesson, the most actionable step yet, is how I'm planning to combat this fear. Going back to the pottery class, there is one more lesson, a hidden conclusion, a much bigger problem that I don't feel like is discussed enough. The 10 videos I made back then for my hardcore world were bad, but the bigger problem is that I absolutely hated them. It's so basic, but it took me such a long time to realize I'm comparing myself to other creators like Looney who are at level 50, as if getting to level 5 from level 1 would be something to be ashamed of. Do you see why making a single video a masterpiece is never going to work? Imagine, if you will, again, the pottery class. How would you feel if you were in the quality group and you took your tasks seriously, you worked on that one masterpiece day and night, only to lose to a thing someone threw together in a day? How would you feel when you looked at your masterpiece and realized the other one-day creation sitting next to it is objectively better? This comparing myself to others caused me to absolutely hate my creation, those original 10 videos I've made. But this is also why you quit if you go the masterpiece route. You are emotionally attached to the project on such a deep level that you are afraid. Afraid that spending this much time, you should have been able to achieve something actually perfect. But deep down, you know your creation is far from perfect. This is why people never release their creations. They are afraid. They are too emotionally attached and are afraid of the unavoidable negative reception. But there is something you're even more afraid of. I'm gonna be real with you. Many YouTubers say they are just doing this for fun or like blah blah blah. No, I am doing this because I want to turn YouTube into a business. Not a sleazy, slimy business selling you stuff, but a business nonetheless. If you pour your heart and soul into one single video, you've made the best 100 days of hardcore Minecraft video, and your video is sitting at 100 views while Looney's video or Sandiction's video gets all the views, regardless of your video being actually better than theirs, you will just feel devastated. The only way to defeat this mentality, the only way to not get this result, is to just make and release videos, because we are not playing the endgame content yet. Our business is not content creation yet. Our business is learning content creation. I don't know how much you have to learn if you want to be like a neurosurgeon, but is it realistic to think that, hey, let's say I'm 20 years old, I have now started on my path to become a neurosurgeon. Would it be realistic to think that in a year you can have your first surgery on an actual live patient? I don't know the exact answer, but I don't think so. So why would content creation be any different? Yeah, you see some people who blow up all of a sudden, but do you know how many of those people actually had a previous YouTube channel, or perhaps 10 previous YouTube channels? You and I, we are not there yet. We are still in the starter area. So the best thing we can do is to grind the starter area and just get out of there as soon as possible. And for that, we have to let go of perfect. Perfect is the enemy of done. I've just released a video last week. It was my first video on this channel. I used all my previous experiences in creating it, and during creation I felt this was going to be something special, so I started cooking it more and more until I ended up absolutely hating it. That first video took me 4 weeks to complete for absolutely no reason. The lesson? I don't know about you, but if I work for more than a week on a single piece of video, I get too attached. If I get too attached, I'll go into perfection mode. This very video is pretty much done, is what I would like to say, but to be real with you, I kind of don't like how it turned out. I think I should rewrite a couple of parts completely, which I'm pretty sure would take me another week, by which time I would realize that I don't really like the structure of the entire video, so I should rewrite the whole thing. So yeah, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just gonna release this video as it is, and hope that some of you, if you are still listening, will find this video inspirational, or at least entertaining in some capacity. I truly believe that creating is one of the most fulfilling things you can do in life as a human being, but it can also be to your absolute detriment if you are trying to chase arbitrary things like numbers or clouds, or perhaps worst of all, perfection. So don't get too attached, don't chase perfection. Yes, don't go for the money yet. We are not there yet, we are still in the starter area. Think about that, and go make something.